Well, as a former auditor, I've got a soft spot for auditors. I think government auditors do amazing work, too often ignored. And I realize that while we've got embedded auditors, or they're called inspector generals, in all of these federal agencies, and I work with them all the time, I use their product all the time to find waste, to find fraud in contracting oversight, there's no one doing that within the Senate. There's not an inspector general, an independent watchdog in the Senate. And so knowing the great nonpartisan independent work auditors do, I think it would be great if there was someone that was looking over our shoulder the same way that those folks look over bureaucrats' shoulders in all the federal agencies.
Sure. So what type of things do you all get away with since someone's watching?
Well, I think are our contracts competitively bid? Are we getting the best value? How are we spending money in the Senate? Are we too extravagant in our surroundings in terms of what we're buying? Are people's travel allowances being used appropriately? I mean, there's a million different topics that someone like this could look into. It's the kind of stuff that politicians dread, but the people, I think, have a right to demand.
So what's the reaction going to be from your coworkers up there?
Probably not good.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we shouldn't try to get it done. I think many of them would say, well, we have someone looking over our shoulder. It's called an election every 2 or 6 years, depending on if you're in the House or the Senate. But I think the public deserves as much information as we can possibly provide them about the way we do business. And there's a lot of money spent within the congressional budgets. We have the police budget under our budget. We have, in fact, GAO, the Government Accountability Office, is also funded by the legislative budget. But they've got to look at the whole government, and we need somebody who is actually focused on the way we spend money.
Would this just be in the House, or would this just be in the Senate, would it also be in the House?
The way we've drafted it, it's just in the Senate. I think it's going to be hard enough for me to convince the body I'm serving in to do this. If I came from the other side of the hall and tried to impose this on the House of Representatives, I think their reaction would be even more negative.
Yeah, so who's going to be watching them?
I don't know. I don't know.
Have you heard anything from leadership on this at all? I mean, on this proposal?
I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't.
Because they have a lot bigger budgets, right?
Yeah, right. And that's one of the reasons I want to make sure that the money we save in our budget goes to deficit reduction.
Right.
Because I believe that it's not clear. I've tried to follow that money, and I'm not satisfied with the answers I'm getting, and that's why I've joined this effort to make sure that that money must go for deficit reduction instead of back into the legislative budget to be spent another way.
Right.